welcome to the Pip Pin Podcast. My name is Megan Nodecker, and I am a knitwear designer from Abbotsford, BC. You can find me on Instagram as Pip Pin, on Ravelry as Knit Pip Pin, and in the Ravelry group, Pip Pin. Just wanted to say a quick thank you. I feel like I've gotten a lot of new subscribers lately, and I just wanted to say welcome and thank you so much for joining us. And if you're a returning viewer, thanks for coming back. Today I'm going to talk to you about some finished objects, some works in progress, and some swatching that I've been doing. I've been doing a lot of swatching these past couple weeks. The first thing is wanted to touch a little bit on the Pip Pin knit along again. The Pip Pin Cal is a knit along that I'm hosting on Instagram, and basically all you have to do to enter is when you're knitting a Pip Pin pattern, any Pip Pin or Megan Nodecker pattern is eligible. Just post a picture to Instagram, a whip or a faux or whatever planning, and then just use the hashtag PipPin KAL18. Now, the prizes for that, I've decided it's a year-long knit-along. So the prizes are going to be drawn monthly. So at the end of each month, I'll go through that month's posts and pick a winner. And then at the end of the year, there's going to be a big grand prize. So it's coming up the end of March. So there's still, depending on when you watch this, there might be another day or two to enter for March's prize. And that prize is going to be this guy. And I showed this last time, but I'm going to show it again because I'm super jealous of whoever's going to get this. But this is a skein of yarn from 6 and 7 Fiber. If you've watched any of the previous, 18, well, I've only done 16, but I pretty much talk about her yarn every single day because I love it so much. I just really love the way that she dyes. And she was generous enough to give a skein of yarn for a prize. I was going to wait and do this for the end of the year big prize, but I'm not that patient. So I'm giving it away at the end of March. And this is on her Milo base. And it is one of her Harry Potter themed skeins, and this is called Luna's Shoes. So there's some purples and mauves, and there's these little tiny bits of, where is one? Sea foam. There's some bits of sea foam in there, and I don't know, I'm just a really big fan of the way, there's a little dark bit in there. Really big fan of the way that she dyes yarn, so I'm very excited to be giving this away in the next couple days, so don't forget to enter your projects. There have been a lot of entries for March, and I'm really happy about that. I don't know, it makes me happy that people are participating and kind of following along with this whole knit along thing, because it's my very first one. So I'm glad that it's going well, and I just want to take a minute and share some of them with you because you all have been doing such great projects, and I want to show them off for you. So I'm gonna insert some of them now. And again, this is going on all year, so even if you don't get your entries in for March for that skein of 6 and 7, there will be another great prize for April. I don't quite know what it is yet, but I will be sure to let you guys know on the next episode, probably on Instagram as well. So be sure to check that out. I think that's pretty much it for news stuff. don't really have any other knit-alongs or anything else going on right at the moment. So we'll just move right along. I want to get to, what do I have here? Finished objects. And I have 2 actually, which is pretty cool. I feel like I've been finishing up a lot of stuff these past couple weeks, because I like to finish things before I have some new things that I'm starting, so I want to finish old things before I start the new things. Anyways, these are something that I've been working on for a very long time, and I kind of forgot about them, and then I was digging through some bags and found them, and then realized how close I was to finishing, and so I just buckled down and finished it. And these are a pair of socks, and here you go. And you may, if you have seen the tutorial that I did for the Afterthought Everything sock, yeah, this is the pair that I did. So when I found my bag, I had 1 finished sock and 1 sock with no heel or toe or cuff. So I decided that those just needed to get done because I wanted to wear them. I really like them. I really like this yarn. This is Patton's Croy in Gray Brown Marl. I'm sure it's a wool and nylon blend of some sort, but I don't know exactly what it is. And then the contrasting heel toe cuff is Knit Pick Stroll Tweed in the doeskin heather. They fit really nicely, and I'm just excited to have yet another pair of socks. I still haven't cast on another pair of socks yet, but I can't believe I forgot about these. For the I know for the cuffs, I did do Jenny's super stretchy bind off magic something, one of those things that has way too many words in the title and another J name, but it didn't flare, so I know I was kind of smack talking this cast off this bind off method every time I try to use it, but I see its value. The more I use it, the more I like it. I think I was just it takes a while to get the tension right because I'm so used to doing bind-offs and trying to make sure that they're not too tight. Well, this one you kind of have to make sure that it's not too loose, because if it's too loose, then you flare everything out and it just doesn't, I mean, it fits fine and it looks fine when it's on, but I like things to look good when they're not being worn too, so that's always something that I had a hard time with, and now I'm realizing I just have to change my tension and suck that bind off in, and then everything will be fine and wonderful, and you end up with lovely stretchiness, which is always good in a pair of, these aren't toe-up socks, but I mean the cuff is an afterthought, so yeah. Oh yeah, and if you don't know the Afterthought Everythings, it's a tutorial that I did. It's on my YouTube channel here, and it's free. Yeah, so you can go check that out. The other finished object. Oh yeah, sorry about the Georgia's been a little sick, so she's that coughing that you hear in the background is her. She had quite a bad night last night, trying to sleep, poor little guy, so we had her dosed up on Benadryl, and yeah, she finally fell asleep, but it's just that tail end of a cough, so like tail end of a cold, so she has that bad cough from being sick, so yeah, that's just her. There's nothing I can really do about it, so the other finished thing that I am going to talk about, and I am finally allowed to talk about it, and I'm so excited, is this guy. And this is a new sweater design that is coming out in May. It does not have a name, but it's a project that project that I've been working on with Midnight Cravings, and they're a dyer duo from Saskatchewan. And so I've been working with them, and they're lovely, lovely yarn. This is their Comfort Sport Base, and I'm in love. Like, I don't know, all of a sudden all this sport weight yarn is starting to like come around, and I really like it. It's not as thick as DK and not as labor intensive as fingering, so it's a really nice middle ground. And I don't know where they found this base, but it's so silky and like drapey, and yeah. So basically it's it has these little knot details here, some I-cord edging for the collar. It is drop sleeve with some shaping in the shoulder. Just a nice kind of fitted sleeve. And then the body, you won't really be able to see it anyway, so I'm not really going to, maybe I'll do a little bit. The body is nice and loose. It kind of does a little bit of an A-line, just a tiny bit, because I like to hide stuff. So so I do like to have a little bit of extra room in my sweaters, but I wanted it a bit fitted here. So yeah, this is where I'm also working with Knox Mountain Knit Company, who are out of the Okanagan. Oh, poor Georgia. Hey, honey. I'm also working with the ladies of Knox Mountain Knit Co., who are from the Okanagan, so another Canadian design duo. And we're going to do a big collaboration thing, exciting things, in May. So watch for that. There will be Midnight Cravings, Knox Mountain Knit Co., Pip Pin, all together. It's going to be great. And I'm currently testing this. So if this is something that you feel like you would want to test it, you can head on over to the Ravelry group, and there is a testing thread. I think the large size and the extra large are full. I think I have enough testers for that, but extra small to medium and 2X to 5X, it goes all the way up to, I think, a 60-inch bust. So especially for the larger sizes, if you want to come test it, feel free. I think the deadline I said was, I don't remember. I'll put it below when the deadline is. It might be coming up kind of quick, so it would have to be, you do have to be kind of a quicker knitter, I guess, in order to do it. But if that's something that you want, go check out the group. There's lots of room. It's lots of fun. If you've never test knit anything before, that's okay too. I do like working with experienced knitters and non-experienced, and experienced testers and not non-testers. And basically, when you test knit, you get a rough copy of the pattern. Not rough as in like rough, like a workable, all the information is there, it's just not formatted. So you get a rough copy of the pattern to work from, and you basically just knit it. And if there's anything that you notice that doesn't make any sense, or if there's typos, or if something happens to not be quite right, then you can let me know. And yeah, and then at the end of the test, when the pattern gets released, I'll give you a copy of the pattern, of course, and then another pattern, whatever one that you want from us. So yeah, if that's something that you think that you'd be interested in, all the information is on the Ravelry thread, and I'll put a link to it down in the description box below as well. I've been working a lot on my portage cardigan, because I'm in a little bit of a weird spot right now, because this was the big thing that I was working on and really needed to be finished and needed to be done. and now it's done. So, and I haven't quite got all of my supplies, which I'll talk a little bit more about later, but all of the stuff that I want for my next work design project. So I'm kind of in this like in between space where I actually have some time to like work on things for myself and finish up projects like those socks. And if I have enough time, I think I might. I have a Mount Pleasant, a green Mount Pleasant that I knit myself last year, and I really like it, but I made it oversized and then didn't. It's just the wrong length. So I think I'm going to add some length to that while I have this like maybe week or two of free knitting time. Oh yeah, and the reason I was talking about that is because I have actually been working on my portage cardigan quite a bit, but I am not gonna show you that today. And because I said that I wouldn't, and I said that I'm not going to show it to you until it's done, but I will tell you that one sleeve is done and the other one is almost done, and I'm going to do a little bit of altering to the collar, I think, but then it's done and I'm so excited to wear it. So I'm really excited, and now I have like a little kick in the butt to like get that done too, because it's so close and I just want to wear it. Anyway, so the other thing that I've been working on lots is, I might have to put this away quickly, but because it's actually for Georgia and it's for her birthday, and she's just in her bedroom right now, so I don't want her coming out and seeing, but these are a little pair of socks. So I have one completed sock, and then one almost done. And I think these are just super, super adorable. This is the No Heel Spiral Socks by La Maison Relili. And it's a pattern for socks with no heels. And because of the ribbed construction, it kind of like stretches out so that you don't need to, I don't know, there's a YouTube video about how it all works, and it's kind of brilliant, and it's a vintage pattern that she's updated. It's a free pattern on their website, and you can find it through Ravelry as well. But I have a pair of socks in this yarn, which is Gauge Dye Works, the Altogether Now. I think I hear her. I'm just gonna put this away. Just in case, because it's a secret. Anyways, I have a pair of socks in that Altogether Now colorway. And every time I put them on, she gets really excited about super cool rainbow socks. So I figured that would be a really cute birthday present for her, because her birthday's coming up on April 11th. The contrasting color was some yarn that I got last year during the Get Your Yarn Wishes Granted thing that was going on Instagram. So I just asked for like sock scraps basically, and that was one of the ones that I got. Don't know exactly who it was from, so sorry, but that was one of them. And yeah, I'm pretty excited. I was very excited to find a pattern that didn't have a heel, because she is turning 4 and growing, and it feels like kind of a waste to knit something fitted like that for a 4-year-old. So yeah, hopefully she'll get a lot of wear out of these. The only modifications that I've made so far are I took out the smallest size was still going to be way too big for her, so I actually took out 6 stitches just to make the circumference a bit smaller, and other than that I've done everything pretty much the same. So yeah, it's a really simple, easy pattern. The only thing that I'm having trouble with is because they're so small. I don't know if other people have this issue too, and it might be kind of hard to show you, but I'm doing magic loop, and because it's so small, I find myself kind of using my ring finger behind to like push it along while I'm doing it, and it's really hurting my hand. So this is something that hey honey, you should go drink some water. Okay, can you drink some? Okay. Okay, good. Yeah, it's really hurting my hand. So I've just been working on it, and I can only work on it at night. So I've just been doing a couple of the pattern repeats every day, and they're just about done. So I think the second sock is halfway done, and there'll be plenty of time for her birthday. So maybe I'll take a little video of her opening them on her birthday, so you can see her reaction. Yeah, other than the socks and the portage, I haven't been actually knitting on a lot of stuff. But what I always end up doing when I'm kind of in between projects is I swatch. And so I've been doing a lot of swatching. I've been in touch with Ancient Arts, and they are a yarn company from, let's see what they, Ancient Arts yarns from somewhere in Canada. Another Canadian company. It's always nice to work with fellow Canadians. But they sent me some skeins of yarn to test out and to try and do some swatches with, because I'm going to be doing some designing with their yarn. So in the next couple months, you'll probably be seeing lots of that, which is exciting. But I will show you what they sent me and what I've been doing. So they sent 3 skeins of 3 different bases. And the first one here, this is their merino silk. And it's 75% superwash merino and 25% silk in a fingering weight. And their champagne colorway. And it's kind of like a white, I don't know why that word was so hard for me to find, a white cream with like a very pink tone to it. So really, really pretty. And this yarn is, it's silk. So it's shiny and drapey and lovely. And what I did with it was, if you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen this already, but this is one of the swatches that I did with it. And it is going to be a top. A summer thing. And so this is kind of the same construction as Celesta, which is a top that I did last summer. Big, like chevron stripes, black and white, very graphic. This is going to have a much different feel, but similar construction. It has some scallop lace and there's just lots of, what I really like about this swatch is, and what's going to be really nice about the top, is there's lots of little techniques that I think will really finish it nicely. So like there's a folded hem and some welts and some lace, and these short rows, you can see them here. So they're actually going to be changed to a different spot. But there's short rows. There's like lots of different techniques in the beginning part, and then it will change to stockinette. So that's something that I'm going to be doing in the next little while. So the second one that they sent me here is Nettle Soft, and it's this one here, which is a DK weight, and it is 68% superwash fine merino and 32% nettle, which is really cool. I've never worked with nettle before, but it definitely has like that natural plant fiber feel. If you've ever worked with like bamboo or linen, like it kind of has that similar feel. And I'm not sure if you can see it. It's really soft too. But there's the way it takes dye is really cool. You can see there's a bit of plant something that just didn't take the dye. And I love that. I don't know. I really love it. It looks, it's just such a neat look. So I did a second kind of swatch of the same thing with the Nettle Soft DK, which I also really love. And so it would lie somewhere here. Similar things,
Can I sit up?
Yeah, you can come sit up here.
What?
So I had just still talking to the camera. So I had posted a photo of these two side by side, and I did a little poll in the stories asking what would you rather knit a summer top with, because that was my original idea for it. And most everybody said fingering, and I had a feeling that was going to be the case. That would be my preference too.
Really nice.
Yeah, it is really nice, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's what I decided to do for the summer one. And then somebody had decided to say, why don't you do a summer top in the silk and like a light fall sweater in this? And I thought that was a great idea. And the ladies at Ancient Arts thought that was a great idea too. So there's actually going to be two. There's going to be a summer top, probably beginning of summer, and then a sweater closer to fall. So that's pretty awesome. I'm really excited about both of those. I don't really know what colors they'll be yet, but that's still in the works a little bit. So that's what I'm going to be working on in the next couple weeks. They also, this is for something totally different.
Can I feel?
Yeah, you can feel.
Wait, listen.
And this is, oh, honey. This is their Lasco yarn. This is their new worsted weight yarn, and it's I really like this one. It wouldn't, like, I was gonna swatch a sample of that in this too, but this is actually for something completely different. Anyways, this is 25% Manx Lockton wool and 75% Punta Arenas wool. And this is the Pebble colorway. What are you doing? And here, you want to hang on to that for me?
What
This
for?
is the swatch that I did, just for fun. Just a stockinette swatch. And I'm not sure if you can see very well because I'm kind of backlit. But there's lots of, like it's unbleached wool, I believe, and they just dye over it. So there's, like, you get this really lovely tone to it. And they actually have all of the colorways on their website. They have photos of it on this base because it takes dye so differently. And like, I just love all the colors so much. They all have that bit of brown and that bit of taupe to it. And so they're this lovely, like, rich kind of jewelry, I don't know, just loveliness. So I might be doing something with that yarn in the future as well. I would highly recommend going and checking that out too, because it just, like, this would make a really nice, like, Veronica or something. That's an idea. But it's just very, like, sheepy, but it's not itchy. Like, it's really soft. The colors are what got me. I don't regret asking for this neutral because I really, really love this kind of this taupey color.
It would make a nice blankie.
It would make a nice blankie. Yeah, Georgia thinks it would make a nice blankie. But their colors, like, go and look at the colors because they're amazing too.
I love these colors.
You love those colors? I love those colors too.
What?
Now this next one kind of goes a little bit into stash as well, but I'll talk about this first.
Ooh, what makes you?
So I have this yarn that has been 2 sweaters so far, and they've both been frogged now. And the first one I made was...
Make a nice blankie also.
I think that would also make a nice blankie, yeah. The first sweater that I've made with this yarn was the Lush from Tin Can Knits. It had like a lace shoulders, like cardigan, and then... but I think I made it too small, and I just never wore it, and I feel like it was a waste of good yarn, so I took that apart. And then I made...
You would also make a nice hat.
Yeah?
Yeah.
The second, I don't even remember the name of it. I know I really liked knitting the sweater, but it was a little fancy. Like for some reason, I guess the fit of it or something. I'm usually pretty casual, and it just didn't fit into my wardrobe. And I think there was a color change in a weird place. Maybe I'll put pictures of both of them up here, but yeah. So I don't like having things that I don't wear in my house, and I also don't want to waste good yarn. So I'm gonna do something else with it. So the 2 yarns that were in the other sweaters were this one, which is just the black and white there. Madeline Tosh Optic. And are you going?
No.
Oh, okay. So it's Madeline Tosh, Tosh DK Optic. And it was probably one of the first yarns that I bought after I realized what good yarn was. So it holds a special place to my heart, and I really want it to be something that I wear. And it was paired with this, which needs to be...
Let me feel.
Well, you have honey hands now, so no.
Is it soft?
Yeah. Kind of. And this is Madeline Tosh DK again, that I was using as a contrasting color. And so I went to Fibers West last weekend with a couple of friends, and I was on the hunt. And I was on the hunt for something that would go with these 2 yarns, because after 2 sweaters, actually 3 sweaters, because I also made Georgia a Lush in the Optic which she wore all the time. So that one is not getting taken apart. But I feel like I just didn't have quite enough yarn to make a sweater, and I needed something to bridge it. I needed something to like bridge the black and the white speckles together. So that's what I was hunting for at Fibers West, and I believe that I found it. And what I got was from Black Cat Custom Yarn. Cover your mouth, please. Black Cat Custom Yarn. And this is her Let's Get Worsted base. I love that. And the color is Tarot Card.
Oh, I like the purple.
You like the purple? I like the purple too. And it is 100% superwash merino wool. And I didn't realize this when I was buying it. For some reason, I thought my Madelinetosh was vintage. But it's actually DK. But I think it'll be fine. It's just a sweater for myself, so I'm not too worried about it. And yeah, these colors just, I think at first I saw it in her like cashmere base, I don't know, but I was instantly drawn to this colorway. And then I was walking around her booth and like chatting with her, and I just kept coming back to this color. And I brought the sweater with me to look, and I felt like with some creativity it would work. And Black Cat, just so that you are aware, is also local to me. She is in Chilliwack. And this is what it looks like all skeined up. I don't know if the color's showing quite accurately, but it's dark colors, jewels, and there's like pops of bright green and bright purple and bright blue, and then just lots and lots of dark and kind of light things. So I thought that it would really go nicely with the colors of my sweater there. And so when I started swatching with this, my original plan was I wanted to like fade them, so from the white to the colors to the black. And then when I brought them home, I for some reason just felt like that wasn't gonna work. So I like wound up one of the skeins and started swatching with it and like doing different things with it and thinking, oh, maybe I'll do like a mosaic scarf instead or something. So I was trying all these different things that were not working. And then I finally just decided to, well, I should really just swatch my original idea, because that's what I bought it for. And so I did, and I'm really happy with it. Now, this is the, you like it? Yeah? This is the right side. This isn't blocked or anything. I really just wanted to see what the colors we're going to do together. You can go have some water? Yeah, okay. She was eating honey. Yeah, go have a big sip of water, honey.
Oh, how about this water?
Sure. So this is the right side, and I did a really, really long, like, fade. So that takes a really long time to get from one color to the next. And I liked it, but I am not a huge fan of variegated yarn, and I always kind of forget that. So I was knitting it, and then I remembered, oh yeah, I don't actually like what variegated yarn looks like when it's knit up. What am I gonna do? I mean, there's lots of colors in this one, so I think I like it more than most of them. But then I remembered, because I was kind of thinking the comfort fade. I don't think I'm gonna do that, or the comfy fade. Ooh.
My spoon.
Your spoon. And it's reverse stockinette. So I really like the wrong side. And so I think it's going to be... I think it's going to be reverse stockinette. And probably, yeah, I'm not going to do the comfort fade. I already know I don't have enough yarn for it, and I'm going to have to do like a lot of math to try and figure out how I can get the most bang for my buck anyways. So I need to make something simple.
Can I touch it right away?
In just a minute, okay? So I'm thinking I have made a Il Grande Favorito from Isabel Kramer, and that's I wear it all the time. It's like my favorite camping sweater, and I would just really like the fit of it. So it's simple. So maybe I was thinking doing that with just the reverse stockinette on the outside, or a flax from Tin Can Knits, and maybe just omit the garter on the sleeves. I'm not quite sure yet, but I am happy that I have a plan. And I should just know that I should just go with my gut. So, yeah, I think it'll fade from the optic. And it might not be as long as this, because that's a really long fade. I would pretty much have to start it right away, which might also not be a bad thing. But start it with the... Are you a cat? Start it with the optic, and then go into the terracore, and then into the black. A question I had, though. Do you think... Hang on one second, okay? Do you think that I should have the white at the top and then down to black, or black at the top and then go down to white? Because what do I want by my face? Also, what do I want on my middle? Having white at the bottom might not be the greatest. I'm not sure.
Can I tell it something?
Okay, George is going to tell you something, and then I'll share some stash with you. So what do you want to say?
Sure. Do it. Shall we?
No poop jokes on the podcast, please.
Oh.
So I will talk about stash. As I said, over the weekend I went to Fibers West, and which was really awesome. It was really fun. On the Friday night, I got together with Knox Mountain Knit Co., who is Willow and Sasha, and then Sam from Hand Me My Knitting, and we all went out for dinner together, which was really nice. And then on Saturday, I met up with Sam again, and Carmen, who is Owl and Lily, and Katrina, who is a brand new knitter and already super amazing. So we all went kind of together, and while we were there, we weren't there for too long. Fibers West is nice, and I like it, but it's small. Like, it's in Cloverdale, so it's quite small, and it's more geared to like spinners and weavers and lots of natural fiber and things like that, and lots of local stuff, which is, it's always really nice, but it's not really my thing. So it's kind of cool to go and look around. But yeah, like I said, the only thing that I bought from there was 2 skeins of the Black Cat. So we didn't spend too long there, and then we went out for lunch. And we decided on our way home, because I live in Abbotsford, and then Sam lives in Abbotsford, and I think Sam was driving everyone home Maple Ridge to Mission, whatever. Anyways, I'm sorry if you're not from, nobody knows what I'm talking about. Anyways, we decided that on the way home to go to 88 Stitches because they just got a restock of sweet fiber yarn because it's getting to not be so winter anymore. So Melissa's dyeing again, which is always very exciting. So they had got a new shipment of sweet fiber yarn, so we were going to go and check that out.
How do people dye? How do people dye?
How do people dye yarn?
Yeah.
They use different chemicals and stuff. So you know how I wash my yarn in the sink? It's kind of like washing your yarn with different colors to make it different colors. So you start with white yarn, and then it's like painting kind of. You add paint to the water, and then the yarn soaks it up, and then it makes it colorful.
The water?
The yarn. Maybe we'll dye Easter eggs, and I'll show you.
Sure.
Okay. I don't actually know too much about dyeing, but Easter eggs I can do.
Did you know that you need gloves?
Yes, absolutely. We will wear gloves.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'll do the painting with the brush tape. We need brushes and paint.
Brushes and paint and gloves and eggs.
Yeah.
Okay.
The eggs.
Easter eggs. Sounds good.
And Easter time.
And Easter time.
Yeah.
Yay, Easter eggs. So I had talked about this a little bit before as well. Let me see if I can grab this. This podcasting with one hand is very difficult. Oh no.
I don't know what.
I dropped things. So I talked about this a little bit before, but I recently got these two guys. These are from 6 and 7 Fiber, and I want to make a shawl for myself, either using one or both of these. Didn't know yet, but I needed something to either tie them together or to go with other ones. And I had some ochre, some sweet fiber ochre on her worsted base, and I thought that color would go really nicely with either both or one of my 6 and 7 fiber skeins, and yeah, I was right. So this is the ochre on super sweet sock. So this is 80% merino and 20% nylon, and 115 gram skeins, so very nice big skeins. And I think that like either the blue, sorry, all my tags are in the way. Let's try that again. Either the blue with that, because it has all those, like both of these have the nice rich
They're
like
nice
gold.
and soft.
They are nice and soft. Or the yellow will go very nicely with these two, or like both of them. So I have lots of options now of what I want to do with these. I still don't know, so I am still taking suggestions if you have a favorite shawl, but now it can be bigger because I want something big, either 2 colors or 3 colors. Yeah, give me some suggestions of what do you think I should do. I think this will be my like summer camping project, maybe, or just whenever I have time for stuff. And then, since I didn't spend any money at Fibers West, and I spent maybe a tiny bit over half of my budget the whole day, which was very exciting. I also decided to get a new book.
Yay!
Yay, books!
Yay! You got a new knitting book.
I did. So this is, for those of you who don't know, Home and Away by Hannah Fedek. And it's been out for a long, long time. And it's been something that I've been looking at for a long, long time. It's just very classic patterns. Very nice shapes.
One's pretty.
Yeah, there's the Rosemont.
I like the one. I like this one.
You like that one? Just nice. I don't know. I feel like I would knit pretty much most everything in this book. And I've just always, they're just such classic, I don't know, very classic books. And it's a beautiful book. Very nice paper and really nice photography. And yeah, I don't really know what else to say. I have a podcasting with a little sicky pants on your lap is something else. I think that's going to be it for today. George and I are going to go, what are we doing today?
To the yarn store.
We are going to the yarn store. We are going to go to Valley Yarns out in Surrey. Take a peek around there. And then if the rain holds off, maybe we'll go to the park or something. Yeah.
I'm not on my bike.
On your bike?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so still a couple days in March to enter the Pip Pin Knit Along on Instagram. And if you miss March, well, then all your entries will just count for April. So there you go. A little tip. On April 3rd, it's my birthday. It's my birthday, yeah.
I'll make sure I did the balloon for you.
Oh, thanks, honey. It's my birthday and I'm turning 30. So
40.
30.
How to?
This is so old. So I might be, I don't know, maybe doing something special on Instagram. So be sure to check that out. I don't know, there might be a sale or something. And oh yeah, if you're interested in knitting a sweater in a month and a half, you can head on over to the Ravelry group and take a peek at the testing thread for this one. Also, if you have any name suggestions, that's always something that I really struggle with. So if you have any ideas, please let me know. I think that's about it. Yeah, if you got distracted by Georgia, I'm sorry. And if you want to see more Georgia, I don't know. It's very distracting for me. Be your little sicky pants today. Hey, you just want to hang out with Mom?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, really nice.
You're really nice too. Yeah, so just thanks again for coming by. Thanks again for stopping by and watching, and make sure you give the video a big old like and subscribe if you haven't already. It would really be appreciated. Comment on anything if you have anything to say. I see them all. I try to answer them all. So that's about it. Thanks so much. Happy Easter. And see you in a couple weeks.
Easter.
Yeah, a couple days. Hey, say
Couple
bye.
days. Bye.
Give you a big wave. Bye.
Bye.